In an economy, a squirrel's financial decisions depend heavily on where they store their acorns and how they structure their nut businesses. Most squirrels operate in their home forest, let's say the United States. They gather acorns locally and store them in trees rooted in United States soil. These are called domestic trees, and they're regulated by United States' financial laws and rules. The local tree authority monitors the acorns stored and ensures each squirrel pays seasonal taxes based on their stash. But here you are, CEO of Nutwin Enterprises. After seasons of successful acorn gathering, you realize that the more you store in local trees, the more you're taxed. So you begin looking across forest borders for a better way to manage your nut supply. That's when you learn about trees rooted in faraway forests, places like Nutland or the United Kingdom, where bark regulations are relaxed and acorn reporting requirements are minimal. These trees are known as offshore banks, or in our world, offshore trees. For example, a squirrel might stash acorns in trees located in Nutland, or the United Kingdom, where tree regulations are looser, privacy is tighter, and the local forest revenue squirrels never come poking around. These offshore trees don't squeak to the United States tax authorities about how many acorns you have stored. From a legal standpoint, these trees are in another forest, and they follow a totally different set of rules. Offshore trees don't automatically report their squirrel clients' acorn balances to United States tree authorities. You see an opportunity. Why not move your acorns to an overseas branch? But rather than simply store your nuts in foreign woods, you go one step further. You set up an offshore squirrel company. This entity, let's call it Nutshell International, is legally based in the United Kingdom. On paper, Nutshell International owns the acorns, not you. Because Nutshell isn't a resident of the United States, their rules don't apply. The United Kingdom, meanwhile, doesn't charge taxes on acorns held by non-resident squirrel companies. So you just slashed your tax bill without technically breaking any forest laws. Here's how it works in practice. You sell, wink wink, your acorns to Nutshell International for a very low price. Let's say 2 pebbles per acorn. Nutshell then stores them in a tree in the United Kingdom that keeps them safe and quiet. Back in the United States, this transaction looks like you just made a bad deal or took a loss on acorns.
Meanwhile,
When your accountants tally up your seasonal profits, they appear smaller, so your taxes shrink. Meanwhile, your real wealth still sits in that offshore tree, untouched and unreported. So why do squirrels go through this elaborate nut work? Primarily, to avoid paying high taxes, protect their wealth from changing forest laws, and keep their acorns out of view from snoopy tax squirrels. Offshore banking and company structuring can be perfectly legal if done transparently. Many squirrels report their offshore accounts properly and use them for legitimate reasons like cross-forest trade or currency diversification. Think storing almonds, cashews, and chestnuts as a hedge against acorn inflation. But when squirrels use these systems to hide acorns or lie about their harvest, it becomes illegal. That's no longer tax planning, it's tax evasion. Laws and legislations such as the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act and regulators such as the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the International Monetary Fund, or in our case, the Global Tree Alliance, have created reporting systems to keep squirrels honest. They've introduced the Forest Acorn Transparency Compliance Act and Canopy Reporting Standards, which force offshore trees to share data about squirrel accounts. But enforcement is tricky, and clever squirrels keep finding new ways to dig deeper burrows. It can be quite challenging due to jurisdictions like the Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, and Luxembourg, who offer low or zero corporate taxes, attracting companies seeking legal tax advantages. While not illegal, these setups often blur the line between tax avoidance, which is kind of legal, and tax evasion, which is illegal. So, in squirrel terms, offshore banking is about choosing the right tree in the right forest, ideally one with more relaxed tax laws, and maybe creating a friendly company like Nutshell to do the holding. It's legal when done with disclosure, but shady when it involves deception. Whether you're a squirrel saving for winter or building a nut empire across the canopy, understanding this acorn economy is key to seeing how rich squirrels use loopholes to avoid paying tax. This video is not a guide or legal advice. Just a fun way to explain offshore banks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Smash that like button to learn more about money.